Morning.
Oi, oi.
What's going on?
We're filming a weekly update on a Friday.
Oh, we're just confusing everybody now.
I know, that's what we do. Well, you've got a life apparently.
Apparently.
Can't believe that. And you met a fan today,
I did.
didn't you?
Yeah.
Russ recognised you before he recognised me.
The only fan.
Yeah, you're an only fan. There's money in that, I'm telling you, mate. Hey, with a face like mine. Honestly. Trying to convince Kate, she hasn't done of it. Anyway, digress. Smash through the intro, and I will tell you why the car park looks like this. We had complaints because we didn't do the car park, so we're doing the car park this week.
And then we'll have complaints that we did the car park.
Yeah, we haven't done it in a while. It is going off a bit.
It's busy.
It is busy. It is busy. I do need to take on another technician. So if you're good, then send me an email. You got to live in Swindon, obviously. But right, from the beginning, I think Corey's fake taxi is impounded.
That's the Beamer there.
Yeah.
That's waiting for him to come back from the...
He's on Cannon Run. Yeah.
Cannon Run, yeah.
My Golf is sat there. Adams is a black V8 to your right. That's finished. That's going tomorrow. OAV, which is a silver one to your left, is waiting on some coolant hoses. There's a Lamborghini behind you that's waiting on an aircon compressor. There is a black R8 behind you that's having oil pump seals.
Yeah.
There's a Ferrari that's about to have a full Klein system and a clutch.
Klein exhaust.
Yeah.
That's different.
Pausing in for oil leaks. That's done. That's waiting to be collected.
That one.
The bin men's are here. Hang on, 2 secs. Let me sort that out. Ignore the bin noise. The bins are being emptied. KKU is the impossible to fix R8 that I fixed because I'm brilliant. There's a black Huracan there, but I'm saying nothing about it because Kate wants to say it.
Ew.
I know. She wants to be in a video.
Does she?
Keep trying to convince her to be in videos, but she's having none of them. Different types of videos, but you know. EPP is all done. That had an oil leak and we fixed it. Kev's R8, which was hard to start, is all done. The clutch switch had gone, so you had to like kick the clutch with your foot to get the clutch switch to engage to crank it, and we fixed a few other bits and pieces.
Nice.
Waiting on an aircon compressor, waiting on a crank sensor, waiting on a few bits to do oil pumps. Ant's R8 is all done, he's in today. That's an R8 GT Spider.
Nice. I've counted 25 of these today, bud.
Have you?
25.
There's a Gen 2 in from Scotland that's blown the clutch out of his ass, so we got to change the gearbox. And then this is Messett's twin turbo R8.
Ew.
So he came down last week to drop this off. We've got a built gearbox to go in it for him, so full Dodson 1-7 Pro Max clutch. And I commented on my displeasure about how he is the king of Mexico and how that's stupid.
And what did he say to that?
He laughed. So
that's good then.
yeah, it's I think he's got like a M140. He's got a big BMW, hasn't he? 140i or something.
Oh, okay.
He gives Tom Wrigley a load of shit, doesn't he? So yeah. He was sound. He's just tongue in cheek. So like you listen to what he's saying, and he's trying to poke you, trying to be a dick, but he's lovely with it. Like you know what I mean? It's funny. But it's Mexico racing. It's boring, isn't it? Like, it's like drag racing. Boring. Where's the risk?
You're gonna have to go drag racing soon.
It's boring. Give me like, all right, a 7-second. I would say what have I done? The fastest I've ever done is an 8.7. So like a low 8, maybe a 7 and below is probably interesting. But yeah, boring. Move on. Unless you've lost the front in the paddock hill. Like now that's fun.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Get the adrenaline flowing.
Right, let's go see what's inside.
Let's do it. Right, we're in.
Yes, so Matthew's driven from France.
France?
It is France, yeah.
Wow.
I drove over from the road.
Yay, dickhead. Surprised you didn't crash on your way here.
Or you didn't cut your wheels.
Yeah. infrared exhaust, so lads are just getting that done now. He's just come up for the day. Owen's car's in for brakes and a few bits and pieces. Got to put a battery on it. So he's Mr. Red Bull. He's the brains behind Max Verstappen looking good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, stories he's got, amazing. And what else? Jordan's putting stickers on something, and that is about it. Then the place looks like a bomb has gone off. There's just so much going on, it's hurting my brain.
Yes.
What else? We had a good conversation about a kiddie child catcher out of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, didn't we?
We did.
You got to find that clip. Hands up if that used to terrify the living daylights out of you. That used to scare me. And how did it end up on telly?
I have no idea.
Literally, a nonce running around with a lollipop in his hand. Anyway. What else is going on? Oh, Davla dropped the bollock. Who is it?
Don't know.
Can we answer it?
Unknown number.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it phone jacker?
Yeah.
Hey, we are calling about the monies in your bank account.
There is a pigeon in your bank account.
Such a good program.
We have discovered a pigeon inside the bank vaults.
The bird.
We need to remove it.
My name is George the whale. We did that this morning and all, didn't we? It's funny. No, I'm a bit delirious because delirious. Yeah. I didn't get into like 2:30. I went to see Foo Fighters last night.
Did you?
Yeah, Manchester.
You kept that quiet.
Yeah.
That was a bit of a mission.
Me, Kate and Cal, yeah. Drove up. Took us like 5 hours to get there. Traffic was shocking. In the world's worst car. I stand by the fact that electric makes cars worse. So it's a Honda, what is it? No, it's not. It's a Toyota? Honda? I don't know. It's Japanese and it's got a battery and a tiny engine.
Yep.
Was it a HRC? HZC? I don't know. Honestly, it's not even worth remembering. But it's like a 1 litre 3-cylinder hybrid with a CVT gearbox.
Oh.
So I did the Fossway at 1 o'clock this morning, and it doesn't have a rev counter. It goes eco. No, it goes charge, eco, power. So I just had it off clock. Rubbish, mate. Absolute rubbish. If you buy one of those, you should not be allowed out. A genuine shit.
Yeah, gutless. No.
Just rubbish.
Yeah.
Cars have soul. Even bad cars you kind of like when they're bad.
Yeah.
Like Hondas, aren't they? They're rubbish, but people like them. But that is just soulless crap. It buzzes every time you go near a lane. It has lane centering because nobody can be trusted to drive a car anymore. So you try to change lanes and it fights the steering wheel back into the middle of it.
Don't do that.
Honestly,
Dangerous.
no wonder kids grow up stupid.
Yeah.
Because as soon as they pass their test now, if they haven't got TikTok telling them what's going on in the world, they've got cars that try to drive for them. Oh, mate, honestly, absolute bilge.
It's almost a rant, this.
It is. It is. Shouldn't be allowed to drive crap cars.
Keep your noise down, boys.
It is. Absolute. It's Kate's hire car because someone left their handbrake off in the car park and it rolled into Kate's Ateca.
Oh dear.
The same car park where Kate's last car got written off.
I
know, she's got the same reputation as Mitch has.
I'm rubbing off on her.
She'll punch you for that.
I said off, not in.
Hey? It's getting worse, honestly. It's a good job he's not mic'd up.
Dear. It's a good job.
The pain
isn't it?
is real. Yeah.
Somebody did comment that they'd love to hear what the off-camera comments
You
were.
wouldn't.
And I should put
It
subtitles
would not
in.
make. We would get demonetized before we got through the intro. Hey? What do you mean we? I think Mitch just invited me to film a video with him. How did you get your job here? How did you get your job here? I just turned up one day and Mitch worked here. We never actually interviewed him for it. My brain hurts.
Should we do some questions then?
Should we thin it out a little bit?
Yeah.
God, they're so Alan Sheard. So this is a comment on, I think, the impossible to fix R8. So love a good detective story. Question, you said you were using a turbo trainer to increase fitness for the season. Has it worked? And if so, what benefit, if any, have you found in racing? Yeah, well, I use Swift, which is an app on my phone that connects to my turbo trainer. And then you train in regions, in zones, as in heart rate zones. Where's my app? So it's, what are they called? Go on, you know, you're a fitness geek. You don't do fitness, you just do lifting up stuff, don't you?
Training zones, heart zones.
Yeah, it's called,
Zone 2, 3.
yeah, that's it, but they're called something, aren't they? They're called, yes, it's health, basically. And then it tracks, I wear a heart rate monitor, and then it tracks your heart rate against your cadence against your output wattage. So I try to hold a certain amount of wattage through my training session. So like this one, it was a cycle round Edinburgh. So my average heart rate was 152 and my max was 186. So I think you start your heart rate at 220 minus your age. So I think my supposed max heart rate is 180, but I can go beyond that. I can do 195. But it has helped. I never really struggled getting off a bike. Like maybe gassing a little bit, so I'm definitely not as tired, but it's always, it's like trying to explain to people, it's not like you've lifted something heavy, it's more like you've held your arm out like this for ages and ages and ages and ages. It's like... an
endurance kind of...
Yeah. So I've been doing a lot, like, I do push-ups and sit-ups every day, like 100 push-ups every day and stuff like that. And that's probably made the biggest difference because it's your ability to support your core, especially when you're braking. So like hooking your leg in on the tank. I don't really dangle my leg. I do when I panic. I've figured that out. But like using my knees then to lock in against the tank then and my core to support the bike takes more off my arms. But that's the trick really. So it has helped and I'm winning, so.
Well, there you go.
It's not a bad thing. Jack Smart, Rick, what do you use for your workshop floor paint-wise? Always stays well, even with engine cranes. Good video too. We paid a company to come and do it, and floor is the bane of my life. Because if you notice every new scratch on your car, I notice every new scratch on my floor. Because it cost me like £6 to have it done maybe 2 years ago now, when MoTeC first sponsored the workshop. I probably wouldn't do it again.
Yeah.
It does look good, but only when it's new. But I don't know, I might say that and it bothers me, but it is pretty hard wearing. We had a company come in and do it. They used a 2-pack. They prepped it and then 2 coats as 2-pack. So it is quite good, but yeah, it really annoys me when it gets marked or chipped or stuff like that because I think it's just a lot of money for nothing. It's a lot of money for a look. It doesn't add any value to the work we do. Yeah. It's just a lot of money for a look. 777 MAV, what's the point of having direct injection if there are 2 injectors on a single driver? Isn't it supposed to be precise for each cylinder? Yeah, you're getting confused there. It's not batch firing. The driver is obviously an ignition amplifier, or sorry, an injector amplifier inside the ECU. So there's no point in having 4 because when you can have 2 and just cycle them on, off, on, off, on, off to do 2 injectors. So what you're trying to do is amplify the voltage because they're 65 volts. So that's essentially what it is. And not batch fire, it's not like wasted spark, it's just there's 2 drivers, they're connected in on a bus inside ECU, so that's what it is. They are fired individually, so it is very, very precise, it's just how they're controlled inside ECU. Rob Karloff, I think my crowning glory of hookups was 2004 when we ran 4 top fuel dragsters in European FIA. I was doing the bottom end of a motor on one, Max Smith driving, and someone asked me a question, noisy, and someone asked me a question while I was getting ready to put number 5 rear main cap back up, talked everything, pan back on, oiling for the warm-up, and then I got a call to one of the other cars to fix a wiring issue. Hear the car firing up for warm-up, but it's quite a short duration. Then a few minutes later, Max driver appears going, Rob, we started up and there's oil pissing out the clutch can dust filter. I go back with him and the crazy Swedish team owner is looking like fire and muttering there's no rear seal in that motor. I'm thinking, no, there's no way. So the clutch guy set about removing the can and cleaning that. Thankfully, no oil went into clutch itself. And I go and look at my tool tray and find the lower half of the rear main seal. As I'd stretched out from under the car when asked the question earlier, the cap on the slide hammer had tilted over enough for the seal to fall out into the tool tray, and I'd merrily banged the cap up into place after answering the question. Oh dear, thankfully nothing damaged other than my pride. Yep, that easy. That easy. Good you found it though. But yeah, and good you use a tool tray, because these don't. Pockets, tops of trolleys, on the floor. And they're both glaring at me now. Toxa 120 LS. You'll have to wait for the video, won't you, about how I'm slagging you off?
Sorry?
I said you'll have to wait for the video about how I'm slagging you off.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Right. Matt doesn't watch. Too busy watching how-to guys on how to pick up girls. Right, so this goes back to me having a rant about people thinking they're entitled. So someone has mentioned it, a couple of people mentioned this actually, an incident that happened back in about 2020. The one that created the most uproar was when Mr. Media Manager asked Litchfield to build his Yaris, pay him 25 grand for the privilege and a percentage of future Litchfield suspension sales. Like, Ian is a nice guy, but that offer was handled as it should have been. If not for Chris Harris blowing the lid off it, we'd never have known. Yeah, I think there's loads of instances of that. I think that came out on Collecting Cars podcast, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
I think Chris Harris banged on about that for a while.
I don't know if he actually mentioned who it was.
I think everybody figured it out, didn't they, at the time?
Yeah.
Or everybody figured it out by everybody going, I didn't do that. Because the Yaris was brand new out, wasn't it? So not many people had them. And then literally there's a list of like 10 people who had them, and everybody went, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, I didn't do that. But yeah, they're cheeky bastards.
Yep.
Finding neutral, biggest near disaster in the last few years. Built a brand new race bike, absolutely mint. The bike sat at the back of my single garage behind my car, which meant every time I needed to get the bike out, I had to move the car, Aston Martin. Early morning to get away to the track, started the Aston out, and pulled it out of the garage, forgetting the charger was still plugged in. The pug came flying out of the wall, snagged the bike, and absolute Armageddon occurred in my rearview mirror as the bike went flying along with everything else around it. Missed the back of the Aston by literally 2 inches. Yeah. Ouchie. Sorry. My God. Yeah, you could tell it's a Friday. Yeah, hopefully the bike wasn't damaged, but could you imagine if it had gone into the back of the car? You are?
So I was hanging my brother in front of me.
Yeah. Classic Racer UK. New mistakes that caused problems. When my brother and I were grass track racing, we were up until 4 a.m. fixing an exhaust system that went across the front of the sidecar. Little did we notice the exhaust was lower than the sidecar. We went to Bidenden grass track, got to second corner, exhaust dug it. Outfit back wheel went in the air. I was a passenger. Ended up wrapped around the handholds of my brother's, headbutted the front wheel. Yeah, I don't do grass tracking, so I don't know whether that's a mistake or just crap design, but can't beat a good crash because someone's messed up putting the bike back together. Had that before. Neil Bave, we request an engine room update video? Love the content, and it seemed to be a while. It's a busy workshop. Engine room update, and it's been a while since the last one. Yeah, we got some engine stuff to do, so we'll end up there in the next couple of videos. Knee Sparks. Hello, Ricky. In relation to the TCU mapping for the ZF8 HP box, you said someone in Poland. Could you link me to his site? Tio has no site. He just has a website. It's Tio Motors. He has got a website. Tio Motors. Just go and look at that, mate. It'll take him a million years to get back to you, but he is good. McNell of STV. My 600 LT has a bad habit of closing the exhaust valves in third gear. It's out of warranty. Any way to fix that? What have we done in the past? We normally put like valve controllers on them, or delete the valves completely. Why would it do it in third gear? It must be an engine rev thing then. Have you had it mapped would be my question. And then is it when you go into third gear and the engine revs drop below the threshold because they open on engine RPM and load? Buzz 1H1TT blah 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 blah. Hi Ricky, love the channel. Could you explain why some bolts on engine builds have a torque and angle rather than just a torque? I get that some are yield bolts like mains, rods, head and cam bolts, etc. because of load, torque and vibration, but why would a sump pan or windage tray need a 15 Newton meter bolt with 90 degree afterwards? Keep up the great work. It's because they use aluminium bolts, so they put a low torque value on it and then they put a torque to yield value on it, which is a degree. So don't get that muddled up with when you do rod bolts, which are stretch bolts. So you pull them with a stretch gauge on to measure the stretch under load. Obviously then you've got normal torque, but then where you get like a head bolt, yeah, you get a head, a main, and then a lot of the aluminium bolts on the bottom of engines, that's just how they do it now. They do it torque to yield. I think it's just because that's a better way of getting the bolt to the right elasticity point. I wouldn't want to comment on exactly why they do that. There'll be people out there that know better than me. My guess would be that rather than you trying to pull a head down to 160 Newton meters or whatever, it's easier to go 60 Newton meters and then 90 degrees. It's more manageable. It makes sure you do it in steps, and then it puts the bolt at yield rather than sometimes a torque. You can, like if you've ever torqued a bolt up that's rusty, taken it out, cleaned the bolts, lubricated it and putting it back in and torqued it, the bolt head will be at a different place. So I think that's where you start to get, why they start to do it that way. It's probably a little bit more accurate in getting the bolt to its yield point rather than just a torque. But I don't know, if someone out there would know way more than that than me. ARP head studs and stuff like that, they're a fixed torque. So you do it in stages, they're a fixed torque. Our McLaren head studs and main studs kits, they're a fixed torque. Rod bolts, we try to use a stretch gauge as much as we can rather than torque it to a value. We would do it stretch. Yeah, I've got my opinions, but I'm not probably confident enough in what I think they are to sit here and go, it's absolutely that. So maybe someone knows more. Comment below. I think that's it, mate.
So there we go.
What else is going on?
I don't know.
No? Nearly went off my chair then. Yeah.
No racing coming up?
No.
No.
Next week.
Okay, so there is racing
Brands
coming
next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, when do we go? Thursday. Yeah, we go Thursday. So that's all right. So that should be quite a good one. Yeah, Brands Indy, not the big one. So that's all right. What else is going on next week? I've got to pick Sienna up from school in a minute. So we'll do that. The boys are doing exhaust. Yeah, it's pretty quiet. It's pretty quiet. How do you get many people ask for quotes for your work? How do you deal with that? I've had a couple recently where people have asked me to quote up stuff and then I've seen their cars pop up at other workshops having work done.
Yes. I think you certainly get this with what I do. People want you to do it for the coverage, for the recommendation.
Yeah.
It's only taking picture or video, so you can do it free.
Yeah.
You know, or you know, find out what my day rate is for X.
Yeah.
And then go and get some young dude who's at college
To do it
to
cheaper.
do it for 25 quid.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you know, or I've also had people will, you know, grill me on what settings I'm using, what equipment, and you know, when the lighting's like this, how would you do this? You know, and then they go off and do it. Hey, it's a free country, but yeah.
This is going to turn into a new rant. I think sometimes I quote to put other workshops in the ballpark. So I had one this week where I was asked to price up an engine build. And they had an estimate I'd done for a customer that was a few years old. And then when I said, well, it's going to be more than that, they were like, why? And I'm like, well, it's 2 years old, so prices have gone up. And they're kind of like, oh, yeah, but I can get someone to do it cheaper. No worries, going to get it done cheaper.
Yeah.
But I don't think people realise how much time it takes to, like, I'm not talking about like putting together estimates for servicing and stuff like that, but when you've got to estimate up an engine build, it'd take me 3-4 hours
Yeah.
to do it properly. And then, I don't know, I used to chase work a lot. I used to literally, and it was a race to the bottom where I'd be like, oh, I really want to do that job. So you'd almost let them dictate the price. And now, especially engine builds, I'm not cheap. I'm not cheap. And if you can't stomach that, that's fine. Everybody's got a budget, everyone's got a place. But what people don't understand is the risk in building engines is huge.
Yeah.
That's why I won't build an engine unless I know who's tuning it. And if I don't like who's tuning it, or I don't know who's tuning it, I'll turn it down. Which is why 9 times out of 10 we tune them. Because I build an engine, and whether it's a race engine or not, miraculously, I'm betrothed to that engine for 2 years, because everyone thinks everything comes with a 2-year warranty, you know, even a race engine. So I don't know, engines is a dangerous thing anyway, and especially when you're building these V10s and V8s where they're like 50 grand to replace an engine if it goes wrong. Yeah, people seem to think I want to, you know, build it cheap for people.
Yeah.
And I don't.
No.
It's like bringing your own parts. Dav, can you come and film my videos for me and you can use my camera? It's not, is it? Because you works in your equipment and your tools and the parts you use. You know, not Lidl pistons and Audi rods. Not picking on Lidl or Audi, but they don't make rods or pistons. So what, do you know what I mean?
You're not going to upset anybody with that. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Quoting is a difficult one. I struggle with it. Oh no, I struggle with people take the piss. That's it. The rant isn't about quoting. The rant is about people taking the piss. That's what it is.
There you go.
Are we having it? That is a fancy moving arm, mate.
It's all right, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a bit of a mini rant, I think.
Only 450 quid, that.
Was it? My mate can do it cheaper.
Thought I'd better use it.
Yeah.
You could probably make one.
Yeah, mate can do it cheaper.
That's pretty tame, man.
What?
Yeah.
Very tame.
Yeah, I went pretty heavy start of the week, if I'm honest. I don't know what else I kind of feel a bit ranty about, hey? I'm in a good mood, so I don't really feel very ranty. No. I struggle with people. I don't know whether anyone's got that with the old ranty videos. We went to Foo Fighters last night, and it was at Old Trafford Cricket Ground. And it was me, Callum, Kate, and then Kate's cousin Denise and her husband, right, who've gone. And we can't go to the front, because obviously we've got Callum and stuff like that. So we're pretty far back. And the weather was miserable. And some, like, I don't want to go hard, but I'm kind of going to go hard. But she weren't dressed for a metal or rock gig. She was dressed like she was going for a Sunday walk to Slug and Lettuce for some martinis. Halfway through the gig, and I do mean it slightly drizzled, she puts a f***ing umbrella up. Right? So we're not blessed with height. We're quite short. And you can't always see, so it's fine. If there's a tall person in front of you, you just move, right? Honest to God, this thing was the size of a small moon. Right? And I've started to I'm like, okay, this is kind of pissing me off now. And I kind of went, love, put your brolly down. And she turned round, give me that f***ing entitled glare that kids these days have got. Turn back round. And the bit that absolutely sent me into space was when she tried to film a bit of the gig, and she lifted the umbrella higher to cover her phone while she filmed the gig. I had a weak moment. I might have broke her umbrella. And then shouted at her and told her to put her umbrella away and that she wasn't out for a Sunday stroll, and if your hair gets wet, off home. And she said I was aggressive.
You had brolly rage.
I had proper brolly, I had proper brolly rage,
Yeah.
right? But this is like, do you know what, mate, right? This goes back to the same thing at the start of the week with people who think I want to work for free because they're popular. This is the same bullshit. She would have been one of them in school, right? That bullied everybody because she was a popular girl, and it was the same. Nobody else had a brolly, mate.
Yeah.
30,000 people there, and everybody was getting wet except this. Right? And she blocked my view in like the best song. It's fine, we're all getting wet. And before anyone goes, oh, you bullied a woman, no, if it was a bloke, I would have told him he's a dickhead and all. It's not that. Who takes a brolly to a rock concert?
I didn't see that rank coming.
Honestly, I know. Kate was like that, we can't take you anywhere. Callum didn't know where to look. Denise is laughing. Dickheads, mate. I don't know whether it's because we were queuing for food, right? So we got in, and then we're queuing for food, just me and Callum queuing for food. And obviously, you end up becoming queue mates with people, don't you? When you're in a queue for a really long time, like at airports, you end up becoming queue mates. So there's two people in front of us, we're laughing at them, and there's a family behind us, and we're all just sort of laughing, joking. And you know what it's like where people like cross over the queues. One guy was crossing the queue to walk through and just stopped. And I'm like, right, okay. So I tapped him on the shoulder, went, you're right, mate. And he went, yeah. I'm like, kind of pushing in there. He's like, no, I've been here the whole time. I'm like, you haven't, I just watched you. He's like, this is the back of the queue, innit? And I'm like, no, the back of the queue is like all the way back there, mate. And he's like, oh, right, sorry. But people put up like, do I get this trouble because I say something? Do I cause my own problems? Because I don't keep my mouth shut. Whereas other people just would have gone, oh, dickhead's pushed in and not said anything because they probably would have got knifed up or something. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But because I've gone, oi, dickhead, don't push in.
Yeah.
Oi, dickhead, don't put your brolly up. Honestly, Kate's face. She was literally like that. I cannot take you anywhere.
I love it.
But it's dickheads.
Yeah.
Don't be a dickhead, and life's easy.
There's the next t-shirt.
Innit? Don't be, like, we're leaving. So we park, right? And because Kyle's United, goes to watch United games all the time, he knows all the little places around Old Trafford you can park, because it's right near proper Old Trafford. Proper, not fake Old Trafford, real Old Trafford. So we parked up and we let out, and obviously the crowd let us out, the people walking down the path let us out, and then the cars going right let us out, and there was a gap, and then some knobhead in an S3 literally, mate, welded himself to the bumper in front and glared at me as if, fucking pass ag. Of course, couldn't really pull it off in the Toyota of dreams, could I? Absolute wimp of a car. 5 miles later, I'm still sat behind him. He gained absolutely nothing by being a dick and not letting me out.
Yep.
Don't be a dickhead, mate. Just let me out. But then, of course, everybody else saw what was happening, so everyone was calling him a shithead. Because he just... Honestly, why is everyone a dickhead? Why is everyone a dickhead?
Everyone's a dickhead.
It baffles me, mate. Brollies at a rock concert. Brollies at a f***ing rock concert. Could you imagine if that was at, like, a Slipknot gig or an Eminem... Literally, she would have got kicked. She would have got kicked. Or had piss thrown at her. Because everybody's had that. If you can't stand getting covered in piss, don't stand at the front of a metal gig. Honestly. Festivals, we've all been there, done that. Not the pissing, getting. But it is, isn't it?
You're a piss thrower, are you?
Yeah.
That took an unexpected turn.
It did, didn't it?
Yeah.
So, no, I'm not even sorry I shouted at you. If you're watching this and it was you, don't be a dickhead. Lucy. Don't know whether your name is Lucy. Just pick that name. Honestly, Brolly's at a rock gig.
First time.
Yeah. So, I probably owe her some money for the brolly, but she has to reimburse me for the 6 minutes of my ticket that I didn't get to see the band for. So we'll call it even.
Right.
But yeah, Kate actually was like, told her, Kate went all HR. She was like that, if you'd read your emails properly, love, you'd see it says no brollies. I was like, go on, girl. Smash her up. With your legally correct statements. I just called her a dick. I might have called her something else. Honestly, people, mate. That's it, there's a comment. When have people pissed you off and you've said something about it? Because British are too nice, aren't they? So yeah, in the comments below, let us know a time when you stood up for humanity by telling someone they're a dickhead when they're a dickhead.
There we go, and we'll read them out next week.
Is it parenting? Is it because they were parented shitty? Is it because you get to a certain age and you're a dick? I don't know. I tell my kids I don't say they're dickheads, but I tell them when they're dickheads all the time.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you call me a dickhead.
Well, you are, though. You're a beard with an idiot hanging off it. But I don't know. Let me know. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Or maybe I win a Parent of the Year award. Maybe I'm a gig goer of the year. Do you get awards for that?
Don't know.
I stood up for what was right.
Yeah.
Didn't look like it at the time. Just looked like I picked on a short girl in a pink blazer. But I was a bully. Makes a change. I'm always the one getting bullied. Even here I get bullied. I'm the boss. Oh, Dad, we shouldn't do videos on a Friday, mate.
No, I'm starting to think that.
Friday videos are banned.
Right.
Smash the buttons, like and subscribe, and tell us a time you stood up for what was right, even though you probably looked wrong. And we'll see you on the next one.